complex process that involves state-of-the-art equipment, complicated chemistry, human ingenuity, and sometimes a little luck. As harvest approaches, our winemakers assess the grapes' maturity. Once they have determined the grapes are ready, they are immediately harvested. White grapes ripen before red grapes and are harvested first.
But we know that harvest is coming every year in August, September, or October. It's the time of year to be out in the vineyard. It's the time of year to watch the grapes develop. It's the time of year to be tasting fruit. And experience teaches us that when the fruit flavors are right, and the other things about the grapes, such as the color of the seeds, the thickness of the skins, when all of those things come together, that's when we know when the harvest.
During harvest, we pick our grapes early in the morning to retain their full flavors and acids. Then we rush the grapes to our winery and the winemaking process begins. Although there is no difference when it comes to picking red and white grapes, they are treated differently during the winemaking process. Both red and white grapes have clear juice, but when we allow the red grapes to maintain contact with their skins, we can extract the deep red colors of the wine, along with their flavors and tannins. Tannins contribute to both a red and white wine's structure, weight, and contribute to their ability to age. When the red grapes arrive at the winery, they enter the hopper and the destemmer removes the stems. Then they head into the crusher, which lightly crushes the grapes. The grapes and juice are then moved into a stainless steel tank where they are cold soaked for 3 to 5 days. This process gives the wine a rich color and enhances the complexity of its flavors. After the cold soak, the tank is heated to 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 24 to 27 degrees Celsius, and we add a special strain of yeast to start the fermentation process. The yeast consumes the sugar from the grapes and creates alcohol. During this process, the grape skins will float to the top of the tank, creating a cap. Because the skins contain much of the red wine's flavor, color, and tannin, we regularly mix them back into the fermenting wine. For white wines, the process is slightly different. White grapes are gently pressed prior to fermentation and separated from their skins. Fruity, delicate wines like our Pinot Gris or Muscat Canelli are first fermented cold around 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 12 degrees Celsius. White wines need cooler temperatures to preserve their fresh character. After the initial fermentation, our wine goes into barrels, which soften it and give it the flavors of toasted oak and vanilla. While in the barrel, wine goes through a second fermentation called malolactic, where the tart malic acid in the grapes is converted into soft lactic acid, the same type found in butter and milk.
Well, the winemaker has a couple of different criteria for sending a wine to barrel. Usually, for red wines, the wines will be through their primary fermentation and possibly through their secondary or malolactic fermentation. When they feel that the wine is at a point where it's ready to begin its aging process, we'll send it to barrel, and it'll rest in those barrels from 12 to 18 months before we'll take it out and blend the wines and then bottle them.
After the harvest, our winemakers continue to taste and assess the young wines in anticipation of assembling the final blends.
The most challenging part of making a wine is putting together the final blend. You have fruit flavors to consider, you have the kind of textures, the dryness, the acidity, the sweetness, and you're always looking as winemaker to make a wine of many layers, a great deal of complexity. Thinking about all those things at the same time as you evaluate individual wines and start to construct a blend is a great challenge.
For our reserve wines, Sterling uses a small, state-of-the-art 10,000 case winery located next to the Lower Ariel tram station that's perfect for the production of our top-tier reserve wines. In addition to highly advanced equipment in our reserve winery, we harvest the reserve quality grapes by hand into small bins to minimize bruising or crushing. Because of the small case production, our winemakers are able to be extremely selective in the grapes they choose. They only use the highest quality fruit from our estate vineyards, including Diamond Mountain Ranch. This ensures that only the most pristine and perfect grapes are selected. Once selected, about a quarter of the fruit is gently placed into new French oak barrels for fermentation. This extensive process allows us to extract all the concentration and flavors from the grape skins while gently integrating the oak flavors of the barrels into the wine. Sterling Reserve wines are aged for up to 18 months in oak before bottling, resulting in robust wines that will age for years. You will soon have the opportunity to taste some of our reserve wines in our tasting rooms. For now, please make your way to the barrel overlook for the next video and to continue the tour.